How many stocks would you say it's important to own to be diversified?
So back to the mutual fund model and the ETF model.
Yeah.
If you buy one of those investment vehicles, typically you might own 100, 500, sometimes thousands of different securities. So in the model that I run at Visionary, we have a stated goal of 25 to 30 companies. And so if you read the old investing books, Benjamin Graham, The Intelligent Investor, he indicated that 10 to 30 stocks was sufficient for diversification. And Warren Buffett, probably the most famous investor that we know,
Yeah.
he has been quoted as saying 15 to 20 stocks at most. I think he even would favor less stocks than that. So you don't need necessarily 50, 100, 500 stocks to be diversified. If you have a select group of stocks, what I like to do is diversify those by sector. So in other words, if you have 25 or 30 stocks, you don't want to have half of those in energy or half of those in financials.
Sure.
You want to have a few stocks in different sectors. And so, you're diversified by sector, but you don't necessarily need to own 15 different energy companies to get good exposure to that sector.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because if we think about if someone were to say, well, I need 50 stocks or 80 stocks or whatever it might be, a much higher number, it gets very hard then to, depending on the account size, to get a proper weighting there, right? Because, you look at an AT&T who's much cheaper than an Apple, right? And to get proper weightings, then it could be very difficult to do if we had 50, 75, 80, 100 stocks in there. So
it is, and that's a good point. I mean, that's the downside of this dividend stock investing, is that you typically need to have a little bit more money. And I'm not saying you need millions of dollars to do it,
Sure.
But the beauty of a mutual fund is you can have $1,000 and you can invest in a mutual fund and get instant diversification and instantly own, 200, 300, 500 stocks. Yeah. But if you buy the individual stocks, like you said, Apple at $350 a share,
sure.
If you have $1,000, well, you could buy 3 shares of Apple and that's it. So that is the one downside to stock investing. You really probably need a little bit more money than maybe a smaller account would have.
Yeah.